Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me again for more about business, marketing, and personal growth. So today we have the opportunity to cover what you do or how you do it to work remotely and balance work life, personal life, and everything else that falls in between when you're working from home. So from kid toys to my dog to my husband also working from home and doing school from home. So all of us are basically in the same household doing a million different things. How do we manage that?
So after editing the video, I realized one of the main things that I did need to mention is that you should keep your house entirely organized as much as possible. I know it'll get messy throughout the day. Trust me, I have two girls and they're everywhere. But at least organize your stuff in the daily. So like our center living room table, I pick it up really quickly. I place everything away. And I just like to see it clean like this with just my books and the main supplies that I need.
Consider having a to-do list that's going to be vital things that you're going to be doing ahead. So I usually stay up pretty late at night, even up to 1 o'clock sometimes to work. But one of the most important things is that before I go to bed, I plan what we're doing the next day. This is my agenda. I still use handwritten agenda, but you can look at my previous video, how to be productive, and it has a typed in agenda for like business and personal. So it shows you productivity tips. You can definitely use that one if you're more techie and you just love computer, or even your phone notes. Sometimes I'll label it Monday / to do. So you can do either option and then just list the things that you're doing. I plan the whole week ahead. It's really important that you know what's going on when you're doing things. That way you can prioritize either by yourself, with your partner, or even with your kids. Now, I also have a more in-depth plan. And this one's more in-depth with my work, like my to-do. Okay, I needed to call this client, I needed to edit this website, I have to prepare this kit, or I have a consulting call. Tip number two is have a designated work room or a functioning business work area. So it doesn't mean that you have to have an entire office set up for that. We're lucky that we ended up using the nursery as an office because my baby just likes to be in our room. So she has her crib in our room, and we have a designated office for my husband's work or when I have video calls or I have to record anything, which right now I'm recording in the living room. I feel much more comfortable doing it this way, but when it comes to editing, I definitely use our office. Yeah, I'll have a video as well on how to set up your office, so be sure you take a look at that and subscribe so you'll know how to do your home office area for either your own business or if you're working remotely because of the whole quarantine situation. Now, if you don't have a full space, like an entire room, even if it's the kitchen table that you have to work at, make sure it's your designated area. It's not where your kids are leaving toys, where you're leaving constant like food, drinks, whatever you clean up after it's used, and it becomes just your work area when you're actually using it. In my case, on Sundays, the living room becomes my work area for a couple of hours while I'm recording videos. So everybody knows that this area is left alone and I can just focus on my recordings. You want to make sure you have something like that. Now, tip number 3 is going to be prep meals ahead or make very simple lunches, salad, pre-made enchilada sauce, or quick lunches, or tuna mixes, tuna salads. You want to make sure you make it very simplified. We even do like bean tacos with cheese, and those are super good. It's very easy to make and very quick. You want to keep it really simple. Don't go having to run to get takeout, having to order food, not during lunch. You want to make sure you really minimize the amount of distraction during that time, or that you use your lunchtime to play with your kids instead. Have a to-do for your kids as well and for your baby. So activities that you know they're really good at. For my daughter, she's already 6, so her to-do list is really in-depth. It tells her what to do from morning till afternoon, even at nighttime, her reading time. For my baby, it's more I have to work around her schedule, but I already know her nap times, and I know that's when I can get really productive in whatever work I have to do, or my husband has to as well. So be sure that you have some tasks for them. Your kids are really smart. I would say starting at 4, they kind of can start managing a lot of their own activities so long as you're supervising. Leave the door open. In our case, we even got a Zoom camera. I'll link it down below. Change time with your husband during your busiest hours. So for me, if I have like an 8 a.m. Zoom call, I know it's going to be on video. I don't want it to be interrupted. So if my baby is eating breakfast and my daughter too, it can be really quiet, it's fine. If not, my husband definitely goes ahead and takes over, and he's the one that watches the kids during that time, or vice versa if he has a really important call, which usually he does. Reserve tasks that will need your complete focus for the morning. So you want to wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever time you can before your kids are up. Just get going, get the most important task out of the way, the ones that are stressing you, get them out of the way early in the morning, late in the evening, or the weekend. I highly suggest to get those things done without interruptions. That way you're stress-free the rest of the day. You couldn't finish all your work, what do you do now? Hold it for late at night, because you know what, you might need a break. If you're super stressed out, get a little bit of a break, go on a walk, do whatever you need to do, visit with your family, create a meal for your dinner, whatever's going on, and then do your task later in the evening, even if it's work related. We've done this plenty of times where my husband does either some of his work things, or I do a lot of my editing very late. I could stay up even until 1. I know it's not conventional, but during this situation, at least you have the flexibility of being around your children and your home your entire day, so you can use different times when it's not as productive for personal, and then get really focused and productive at the hours at work. So work around your family lifestyle and that schedule and productivity. So you could stay up until 1 if it's really necessary. If not, go to sleep, because rest will help you be even more productive the next day. I do have a productivity video, so if you want to watch, make sure you subscribe, check out the other videos, and you'll definitely get more insight on it. And before I forget, if you have a passion project, your own side hustle, your own business, you're teaching VIP Kid Online, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you reserve time for it early in the morning or late at night, because you're gonna want to make sure you continue it. Don't give up on it, you'll regret it. So be sure you just keep going with it. It's important. If it's important to you, it's important. Tip number 8, ask your spouse and then ask your children to help. So my daughter helps with picking up after the baby for me, and that's really beneficial. But then again, she makes a mess too, the bigger one. So we have to remind her on her to-do list. So it's all about helping each other out. My husband and I take turns with even washing dishes. He's really helpful around the yard as well, but then I'll go and take over too, and I'll help him when I can and with what he needs. So just have that partnership where you can both help each other out. Now, if you're by yourself, you have no kids, you have no husband, believe me, I was in that situation. My husband was working super late at night, so it was basically just me in the house. That means you have more time to be life. But if not, separate your tasks, do a board. We even have a whiteboard where we list what we're each supposed to be doing, and it helps us out so much. I support him with his school, he supports me with my personal things. Number 9 is cleanup. Wash dishes every single day in the evening. Don't wait for it to all get stacked up, and then on a Wednesday you have a million chores to do and you have to sweep and do everything. No, when it's very slightly dirty in the house, wash your dishes that evening, sweep up real quick whatever mess there is, do your bed, put away the clothing. Everything has to be done in the evening, even if you're a little bit exhausted. If you're not productive every single day, then you're gonna need breaks every single day, because it's gonna get overwhelming. But if you're productive every day, you're doing your dishes, you're cleaning your countertops when it's necessary, sweeping up the floor, pulling out trash, every day trying to get those mundane things out of the way, it's gonna be so simple when it comes to cleaning day on Saturday, and that way you have extra time for your work and passion projects. The final tip number 10. So on tip number 10 is you take a relaxing walk every single day. Now, if you're not fortunate enough to have an area to walk, you're in a bigger city and it's just crowded with the whole quarantine, you don't want to be out there, I highly suggest maybe go to your little patio, make it fun, put some lights out there, read a book, just make it a relaxing outing. We do a mile every single day. We go walk around our neighborhood. It's usually pretty empty, so it works really well for us, but it gives us that time to connect with the real world, to connect with nature, and not feel like you're just stuck at home the entire day. It's really important. I'm not saying it's extremely simple at all. I understand that it can get overwhelming. Sometimes we get sad, stressed, because it's not the normal life. You're not doing all your celebrations and your outings, but just know it's a time that you can be extremely productive when it comes to your personal goals, when it comes to spending time with your family, and just enjoy them, because there isn't always time like this. You'll make sure that you do follow me at the Erica Balderas, that's my personal one, or at Balderas Marketing, and that's my business account. I'm so excited to connect with you all and keep helping you with different tips. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys very soon.